all across America and around the world. This is Veterans Radio. This is Veterans Radio.
Welcome to Veterans Radio. I am Jim Fossone. I'm the officer of the deck today. We've got some great programs for you. We always want to remind you you can find more about Veterans Radio at its Facebook site or at the web, veteransradio.org, where we're on the web 24/7. You can find a lot of our podcasts there as well. We post new ones every Tuesday, so you can get a new story, a new interview, something you didn't know before by going to veteransradio.org. And before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. First up, we want to thank National Veteran Business Development Council, nvbdc.org. It was established to certify both service-disabled and veteran-owned businesses. You'll find out how they can help your business by going to nvbdc.org. We want to thank Legal Help for Veterans. Legal Help for Veterans fights for veterans' disability rights all across the nation. You can reach them at 800-693-4800 or on the web at legalhelpforveterans.com. And finally, PuroClean. PuroClean is the paramedics of property damage. It provides water damage remediation, flood water removal, fire and smoke damage remediation, mold removal, biohazard cleanup. It also has a focus on veteran franchisees. You can learn more about them by going to puroclean.com.
All right, strap in, everybody. Today, we're going deep on a pretty incredible story.
Oh, I know this one. This is going to be good.
Yeah, we're talking about Sergeant Julia Bringloe.
An air ambulance flight medic. Wow.
You got it. Operating in the thick of it.
Not just anywhere, right?
Nope. Operation Hammerdown in Afghanistan. Petch River Valley.
2011. Right in the heart of things.
Exactly. And we've got excerpts from a whole chapter about her, this woman. She's something else.
I bet. So what are we focusing on here? What's the mission for today's deep dive?
I'm glad you asked. What we're going to do is unpack what it was really like for her out there.
Out there, meaning?
Imagine this. You're not in some sterile hospital room. You're in a helicopter.
A helicopter.
Yeah, hovering over a battlefield.
And every second counts.
Every single one. And to make it even more intense.
More intense. How?
We're not just talking about any medic. This one earned the Distinguished Flying Cross.
Oh, wow. That's one of the highest military honors you can get.
You got it. So yeah, that's what we're diving into.
The pressure, the decisions, and all while dodging bullets.
You know it. But to really get it, we got to set the scene.
Okay, yeah. The Peck River Valley, what was it like?
Just picture this. Steep, rugged mountains, scorching heat.
And don't leave me hanging.
The constant threat of insurgent activity. It was like their backyard, you know.
The Taliban.
Yeah. This valley was a major corridor for them.
And that's where Operation Hammerdown comes in.
Right. It was this yearly thing the Afghan National Army and the U.S. Army did.
Trying to disrupt the Taliban's activities.
Exactly. But it was no walk in the park.
No kidding.
Yeah.
High elevations, difficult terrain. Yeah. You got the ANA and U.S. forces with their helicopters and night vision.
Wait, trying to gain some kind of control.
But the Taliban knew those mountains like the back of their hand.
It was their home turf.
And they used the terrain, the weather, everything to their advantage.
So you've got this volatile setting. Then you bring in the dust-off crews.
Dust-off.
You know, Medevac. But have you ever thought about what it actually takes?
To do that?
Yeah, especially in a war zone. We're not talking picking people up off the highway.
These are the folks who swoop in under fire to get the wounded out.
That's exactly it. We're talking U.S. Army Air Ambulance units.
Their call sign is Dust Off.
Right. Now think about this. They're responsible for getting critically injured soldiers out of a combat zone.
Wow. Using helicopters as their main mode of transport. I mean, talk about pressure.
Seriously. And during the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq...
Wait, hold on. How successful were they?
Get this. Dust-off operations had a 90.6% survival rate for the casualties they evacuated.
90.6%. That's incredible.
I know, right? That's not just luck. That's skill, training, and nerves of steel.
And at the heart of our deep dive today
is Sergeant Julia Bringloe, one of these dust-off heroes. But here's the thing.
What's that?
She didn't take the typical path to becoming a flight medic. At all.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more. What do you mean?
Well, before the Army, she worked construction. Imagine her out in the Hawaiian sun, building things. She was even senior class president.
Wow, that's a pretty big change going from construction to the Army.
It is. Life threw her some curveballs, though.
What kind of curveballs?
Well, there was some personal tragedy. And then at age 34...
What happened at 34?
She decided to enlist. And she was laser focused on becoming a flight medic.
That's incredible. So from Hawaii to Afghanistan, what was that training like?
Intense. They don't mess around when it comes to training these medics. It's the real deal.
Yeah, mastering medical skills, combat tactics.
The ins and outs of helicopter operations, all of it.
And something people don't always think about.
What's that?
They have to develop serious mental toughness.
The ability to handle the horrors of war without falling apart. You're right. That's huge.
So Bringloe, she thrived in all of this.
She did. Ended up with Dust Off 7-3. Assigned to Operation Hammerdown.
Okay, so this is where things get really intense.
You got it. We're going to take a look at some of those missions.
Those missions she and her crew flew.
Yeah, during those 3 crazy days in June 2011.
Give me a glimpse. What were they like?
These missions were a window into the sheer danger and complexity of Medevac work. They were constantly extracting wounded soldiers from hot LZs.
Hot LZs, meaning places under heavy fire.
Exactly. Risking their lives every single time they went in.
Wait, going into active firefights in unarmed helicopters, even with the Red Cross markings, that's terrifying.
It absolutely was. They had armed escorts for protection.
Yeah.
But the threat, constant.
Wow. And don't forget the physical demands.
Oh, right.
Being hoisted down from a helicopter to the ground.
Sometimes swinging around trying to secure a patient.
I can't even imagine. And she collided with trees and boulders during some of these hoists.
Yeah, she did.
So what were some of the missions that really show Bringloe's heroism?
Well, there was this one where she literally saved a soldier's life midair. He had been shot in the face.
Oh, wow.
A life-threatening wound. But it was her quick thinking and medical care that stabilized him.
Enough to get him back to a hospital.
You got it. The surgeons later said he wouldn't have made it without her.
She was saving lives on the fly, basically. Incredible. Tell me about another mission.
Okay, remember those hot LZs we were talking about? Well, there was this other mission where they had to extract wounded soldiers from a rooftop.
A rooftop?
Yeah, all while under intense fire, the maneuvering, the coordination with Apache support, it was incredible.
And they were doing all of this while battling exhaustion.
Mission after mission. Barely any time to rest, just fueled by adrenaline and the need to save lives.
I can't even imagine the toll that must have taken on them.
It was grueling. And it's in those moments of exhaustion that Bringloe's dedication really shines.
Okay, tell me more. What happened?
During one hoist, she collided with a tree trunk and injured her leg.
You'd think she'd stand down.
You would. But she refused. Despite the pain, she kept going.
Putting the needs of her patients above her own?
Exactly.
That's some serious grit. Talk about above and beyond the call of duty.
You said it.
And, it wasn't just American lives they were saving.
Oh, right. Tell me about that.
There was another mission. They had to recover a fallen Afghan soldier.
Wow.
All while under enemy fire, of course. It just shows her commitment, to honoring everyone, showing respect, no matter what side they were on.
That's powerful. So each mission, new challenges, new risks.
And she kept stepping up every single time. Another mission that really stands out, they had to do an extraction.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
The weather, going downhill, fast.
Pushing them to their limit.
Their skills, the helicopter, everything.
It must have felt like a constant battle. The elements, the enemy.
Their own exhaustion. It was a pressure cooker for sure.
And Bringloe.
Calm. Collected, using her medical expertise to make sure those wounded soldiers had the best chance of survival.
Oh, wow. After those 3 crazy days, all those acts of heroism, there had to be some recognition, right?
You bet. Her actions during Operation Hammerdown, they didn't go unnoticed.
I would hope not.
She was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross.
That's incredible.
A testament to her service, her bravery, her determination.
It's a huge honor.
Huge. And get this. She became only the 7th woman to receive it.
The 7th woman ever.
Ever.
That really puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
What did the citation actually say about her actions?
Well, it highlighted her willingness to put herself in harm's way, time and time again.
Like how? What specifically?
It mentions specifically her repeated exposure to enemy fire while guiding her aircraft into these really, really confined spaces.
Like what?
like rooftops,
Yeah.
for one-wheel landings, or those times she was hoisted down to patients from crazy heights, all while under fire.
Wow.
And it talks about her medical treatment en route to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like with that soldier who was shot in the face.
Oh, yeah, the skinny kid she mentions in the chapter, right?
That's the one. The surgeon said he wouldn't have made it if it weren't for her.
Her quick thinking and care during the flight, it's amazing.
It is. The citation also mentions her role in recovering the fallen Afghan soldier, her composure under fire, even during her own extraction.
It paints a picture of someone truly remarkable, someone willing to risk everything to save others.
It makes you think about all the challenges women in the military have faced, and still face, honestly.
That's an important point. It's even more significant when you consider the historical context.
How so?
For a long time, women were stuck in support roles, far from the front lines.
Yeah.
Bringloe's story.
Yeah.
It's an example, a powerful example of the strength, the courage women bring to the armed forces, even in the most demanding situations.
You know what really struck me? After Operation Hammerdown,
Yeah, what's that?
she married one of the patients she had saved.
Isn't that something? It speaks to the impact she had on people's lives. You know, it shows that even amidst the chaos and tragedy, there's room for hope, for connection, for love.
It's a beautiful thing. And it doesn't end there. She continued her military career. She rose through the ranks, eventually even became a Medevac instructor. Talk about paying it forward.
It shows her commitment to sharing her experience, her knowledge, to make sure future generations were prepared.
Prepared for what they would face out there.
Exactly.
That's incredible. Sergeant Julia Bringloe's story is really a testament to those who serve. It's about bravery, resilience, compassion.
It's a story that makes you think about what heroism really means, you know.
How so?
It's not always about grand gestures or medals. Sometimes it's about the quiet determination to do what's right, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous.
It's about stepping up, putting yourself on the line, never giving up.
Exactly. And that's something we can all learn from, on a battlefield or just facing everyday life.
You know, it's easy to get lost in the action, the details of the missions.
Right.
But what sticks with me is her resilience.
It's incredible. Bringloe.
It wasn't just physical strength either, it was mental toughness.
Being able to compartmentalize
Yeah.
the horrors and just keep going.
And it's even more powerful when you consider her journey.
Oh, absolutely.
She wasn't a career military person, she came to it later.
After facing her own struggles, it's amazing.
It makes you wonder where she found that strength.
Right. Was it always there? Or did those challenges, those tragedies, forge something new in her?
It's a good question. It's like she took those hardships, those blows life dealt her,
Yeah.
and turned them into fuel, this incredible drive to serve, to heal, to protect.
And it wasn't just about saving lives either.
Right. It was about honoring them, even in death.
Like with the fallen Afghan soldier.
Exactly. She risked her own safety to make sure he was brought back with dignity.
There's a lot about her character.
It really does. And what's fascinating is she didn't seek out recognition.
No, she didn't.
She was just doing her job, driven by duty.
That distinguished flying cross. It wasn't something she chased.
It was a consequence of her actions, her commitment to something bigger.
Than herself.
And that commitment continued, even after active duty.
Becoming a Medevac instructor. Wow.
Passing on her knowledge, making sure future generations were ready.
For the realities of that job, it's like she took her experiences, the lessons,
From the crucible of war.
and turned them into a gift, a legacy.
It's powerful. Sergeant Julia Bringloe's story.
It is.
It reminds us that heroism comes in many forms. It's not always about charging into battle.
Right.
Sometimes it's about quiet courage, facing your fears, pushing through pain, putting others before yourself.
It's about finding that strength, that resilience that allows you to keep going when everything seems impossible.
We all have that capacity somewhere inside.
We do.
Yeah.
So what do we take away from all of this? What can we learn from Bringloe's story? Apply it to our own lives, even if we're not facing,
Life or death situations.
Yeah.
I think it's about finding our own missions, those things we're passionate about that call us to serve something larger than ourselves.
facing challenges with courage, knowing we have the strengths to overcome.
And recognizing the heroism in everyday acts. Kindness, compassion, resilience. What stands out to you about her story?
The choices she made. Bringloe chose to enlist. She chose to become a flight medic. She chose to face danger.
And in those choices, she found her purpose, her strength, her legacy.
Makes you think about the choices we make every day. The impact, not just on us, but on everyone around us.
It's a powerful thought. It's been an honor to unpack Bringloe's story with you.
It really have.
It's a story that challenges us, inspires us, reminds us of the incredible potential inside each of us.
It's a story that will stay with me for a long time.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it as illuminating as we did. And remember, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep into the stories that matter.
I hope this interview, this AI-generated interview, kind of piqued your interest, as they say. You want to know more. Go read the full chapter. This interview didn't do it justice, in my opinion. Julie Bringloe's an American hero, an incredible story. Her valor is recognized with the DFC, but really the story is more powerful. The injuries that she sustained during her service, swinging at the end of that line, going down to pick guys and up in Afghanistan, just incredible. So go read more about it. You can read more about it at homeofheroes.org or in the Beyond Belief series books. Just like sometimes you read a book and then you see the movie and you say, the movie's not as good as the book. This interview's not as good as the chapter written about her, because her life is that amazing and heroic. And if you've got daughters or nieces who need a little inspiration about where life might take them, maybe their journey's not fully outlined yet, this is a good story that will get them charged up about where life might take them. So read some more about it. And I want to thank everybody for listening to Veterans Radio today. I am Jim Faussone. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm a veterans disability lawyer at Legal Help for Veterans, and you can reach us at 800-693-4800 or legalhelpforveterans.com on the web. You can follow Veterans Radio on Facebook and listen to its podcasts and internet radio shows by visiting us at veteransradio.org. That's veteransradio.org. We again want to thank our national sponsors, the National Veterans Business Development Council, nvbdc.org, Legal Help for Veterans, a veterans disability law firm with a national practice before the VA, can help you on your claims and your appeals. It can be reached at legalhelpforveterans.com or 1-800-693-4800. And PuroClean, a leader in property emergency services. It's the paramedics of property damage, providing water damage remediation, flood water removal, fire and smoke damage remediation, mold and biohazard cleanups. You can reach them at puroclean.com or 800-775-7876. We also want to thank our local sponsors. This would include the Charles S. Kettles chapter of the Vietnam Veterans of America, that's chapter 310, VFW Graf O'Hara Post 423, the American Legion Irwin Preskin Post 46 in Ann Arbor as well, the VA Ann Arbor Healthcare System, and certainly the National Vietnam Veterans of America Association. You can be a sponsor by going to veteransradio.org, clicking on the About Us and our sponsors, and help us out. Keep this program alive for the 21 and 22 years. Keep us going for another 20. Thank you.